Alright, so we're doing a electrical diagnostic tool video. It's a video I've been wanting to do for a little while, and then it was requested in one of my morning live streams. So we're going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to just talk about some different meters, diagnostic tools, electrical diagnostic tools. Not super in-depth, I can go more in-depth in them about them in each of their own videos. Like the lab scope, it's a diagnostic tool I use a lot, but it's gonna get its own video because it's really hard to summarize a lab scope. So we're gonna talk about, test lights, meters, the power probe, all kinds of different things. So alright, intro time, and then this. So first thing I want to talk about is test lights. This is just this isn't truly a test light, but I use it like one. So there's that, and then test light can simply be just a light bulb socket that you solder T-pins onto like this. So, just a basic test light is, I put a little bit longer wire on mine. See, I jacket it. I put a better clamp on. Getting a good ground is really important with a test light. But if you just want to check fuses really quick, ground this to a door latch, door striker is a great ground. And just boom, 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 test your fuses really quick. You have to be careful with the test light though, not to use on 5-volt circuits because you will start burning stuff up. That's where this comes in. Some people call this a logic probe, digital circuit tester, whatever you call it, they're great. So it's got a screen, doesn't have a light bulb, but works the same way. Connect this to a ground, and then check your power, and the screen will light up red and tell you your voltage. If you connect this to power and ground the tip, it will show green and your voltage. The thing I like about this one is you can see it has a banana plug. So I can put all kinds of different test lead accessories on, something out of my Cornwell multimeter lead kit, or something out of this master lead set. So this is kind of a go-to tool for me now. Check alternator output, just voltage, all kinds of things. But yeah, a test light can do a lot of things that people don't think to do with it. So again, test lights will get their own video. This is just a really quick overview. I guess we'll move on to multimeters next. Alright, so multimeters. You can see I have a few laid out. In my opinion, multimeter is the most universal electrical test tool there is. Pretty much test anything you need to with a multimeter, for the most part. So my go-to meter for a long time is this blue driver meter. Unfortunately, it is no longer made. It is a great meter. It does, honestly, all kinds of things that you may not necessarily need every day, but they're handy when you do. So AC/DC volts, you can put a thermocouple in and measure temperature, measure frequency in hertz, dwell angle, duty cycle, look at injector pulse, measure amps with the meter, here, or use an amp clamp. So, you can put a tack pickup on there, measure engine RPM, all kinds of things. It was like a $50 meter. It was a really great meter. I wish they still made it. Now my go-to is my Fluke 23 that I got for a ridiculously low price. AC, DC volts, millivolts, ohms, continuity and diode check, AC, DC amps. It's auto ranging. It's just pretty much everything I need 90% of the time. Now I have a Unity clamp meter here. So this is what I pull out when I need to measure amperage. You can see it's an amp clamp, so put it around a wire, and it tells you the current flowing through it. This will also do temperature, but most of the time I use this. It's really a mirror for a price, honestly, and it'll get some video. Now, what I will say, you can buy a really good meter and get bad results if you use cheap leads. So get yourself a good lead set, and that's the biggest thing with the meters. Get a good lead set, understand the meter, understand what you're testing and how it needs to be tested, and you'll come out with good results. So that's Multimeters. I guess next we'll move on to the power probe, because that's the next one I reach for. This is kind of the order I reach for tools. So first I reach for a test light to check, hey, is there power and ground here? Great, now I need multimeter to make advanced measuring, and sometimes you need the power probe. So talk about the power probe right now. Alrighty, so the power probe. Also out by saying this is a power probe 4. It is the power probe I prefer to use. It has a lot of functions that I'll go into in some video. I did a intro video of the power probe a long time ago. I need to continue on that. But the power probe is a very universal tool, a very powerful tool, but it can also be a dangerous tool. Ask Anthony Robles, GM85. So a power probe, in order to work, needs a power and ground connection at the battery. The thing about a power probe, wherever you touch the tip to, it'll say, okay, you have power or ground. It'll show you both. But if you're in the default mode, it goes to as soon as you turn it on and you hit that switch up, you're getting battery power at that tip. So if you're on a computer circuit and you hit that, you're going to burn out that circuit. So it's great for testing components though, like at a, what was that? I think it was an Audi of some kind. Had a horn, non-op horn, and the horns on Audis are really hard to get to. They're in the fender on this particular model. So I took my power probe, grounded one side of the horn, supplied power, and made sure it was actually a horn itself that failed. That's what comes in really handy. Also, as a ground, so you connect this to the ground side of the component, supply power, and test it. You can also supply ground at the tip. This is always a constant ground. And the power probe has banana plugs, which is super nice. Except this one you tend to need an adapter using your lead sets. So the power probe's another tool I reach for a lot for testing or especially energizing circuits. You can flow, I think, 15 amps. I'll check and put the exact number right here. But there is a thermal fuse in here that will open up if you put too much current through the tip. There's a glass fuse here that will open if you short this. So, yep. For me, the power probe, multimeter, and Tesla are the three tools I reach for the most. Not in that order, but they're the three tools I reach for the most. Because really, for everything I need to check, those three tools will do it. The other thing I use the power probe for a lot is checking fuel injectors. That's why I like the 4. It adds a function to that, and I'll show you guys how to do that one day. So we'll move on to another tool that I consider an electrical diagnostic tool, but may not be completely necessary, but it's super handy. Alrighty, so battery tester. This one's from Carnage Tools, CT210. Now, this isn't a true load tester, obviously. It checks the cells individually. But it's great for checking battery and car, checking its CCA, check alternators with it, starting capacity, all that. It makes it really simple to, boom, power, ground, test everything you need to on the battery. Is it a completely necessary tool? No. Is it a very nice tool? Yes. Will I recommend you get one? Probably. Is it the first tool you should get? Absolutely not. What I like is it's convenient for me. I don't have to walk around and look for a shop load tester or something. I can go out to a car in the lot, boom, check the battery right there. So, yeah, it's definitely a handy tool. So, yep. If you have all other tools and you're looking to get another tool, this would be what I get. It's a great diagnostic tool that comes in handy a lot. The one thing I will say about it is you'll have batteries that test good with this, but you load them with a carbon pile, like a traditional battery tester, one that gets hot, or a Fat 40 or something like that, and they'll fail. So just be aware that just because this says it's good doesn't mean the battery's actually good under load. So when in doubt, check again with something else. Move on to a lab scope right now. Alright, so the lab scope's going to be a pretty brief video. I'll do a full video on this because it's a complicated, for lack of a word, tool that needs an in-depth video. I use the Autel Maxi Scope, but lots of good scopes out there, at least a handful of them. Pico, AES Wave U scope, Autel scope. The Handtech scopes are also pretty good for the money. Handtech helped design this, so. Where this comes in handy is computer-controlled circuits and things that are just too small or too fast to measure with anything else. Uses BNC connectors to banana. We'll get into that in the Maxi Scope video. well, the next maxiscope video, I did a kind of overview video. But, yep, hooks up to either my laptop or scan tool via USB, and it's a really good tool. We diagnosed a bad fuel pump. One of the windings is going bad, and I could see the flat spot on the fuel pump itself by checking out the fuse. So, should have done a video on it, but oh well. That's kind of my electrical diagnostic tools. Not a super in-depth video, but a great place to start, and I plan on making an electrical diagnostic playlist that will just keep growing. So, with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Check out Text Talking Shop. We're on Instagram and YouTube. Link in the description to our Instagram, and link to our YouTube right here. So, links to cool tools and discount codes down in the description. And I will see you guys in the next video.